Virgo, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like the universe keeps piling challenge after challenge on your back, even when you've already given every ounce of strength you had? Have you ever had that aching sense that your hard work, your sacrifices, your quiet patience were going unnoticed, unrewarded? Like the finish line kept moving every time you got close. And have you ever wondered if maybe, just maybe, the breakthrough you've been waiting for isn't about working harder or pushing further, but about finally stepping back and allowing yourself to receive what's already been meant for you all along? I'm so glad you're here today, because what I'm about to tell you isn't just another horoscope. It's not another generic reading or vague prediction. This, Virgo, is a cosmic invitation, a map that's been unfolding silently in the stars, waiting for you to notice. And May 18th, 2025, is the day the universe draws a line in the sand and asks you, are you going to cross it? Or will you stand on the same side, watching opportunities pass by again? On that day, Jupiter forms a powerful square with the lunar nodes. Astrologers like Chani Nicholas call this a fated crossroads, a karmic checkpoint. It's not a subtle whisper, it's a cosmic push. Imagine standing at a fork in the road. One path is familiar, it's the life you've known, the roles you've played, the obligations you've carried. The other path, it's unknown, untested, maybe even terrifying, but it's also where your soul's true calling is waiting, and the universe isn't stopping there. Venus, having finished its retrograde, goes direct in Aries, bringing a fiery momentum to love and creativity. This is the planet of desire, money, relationships finally saying, let's move forward. Meanwhile, Mars burns bright in Leo, adding fuel to your courage, your confidence, your hunger to claim the stage you were always meant to stand on. Think about that combination for a moment: Jupiter pressing you to choose, Venus pulling you into motion, Mars pushing you to act boldly. This isn't random. This isn't just a cluster of planetary names. This is an energetic pattern designed specifically to wake you up from waiting. It's the universe throwing open the door, but you still have to walk through. When I first learned about this alignment, I thought about a Virgo friend of mine named Angela. She's been working behind the scenes in her company for years, keeping everything together while others got the credit. She's smart, diligent, humble to a fault. But every time a promotion came up, she told herself she wasn't ready. Every time someone praised her work, she downplayed it. Until one day, an opportunity landed in her inbox, something she'd never dared to apply for. And for the first time, she didn't hesitate. She hit reply. She said yes, and that moment changed everything. Not because she became someone different, but because she finally let herself receive what had been waiting for her. That's the energy of this alignment. Virgo, that's the door that's opening for you. But here's the thing, it won't stay open forever. The stars don't align like this every day. This is a rare moment, a cosmic window that says, are you ready? And readiness isn't about having every answer. It's about being willing to take the next step, even if your voice shakes. So, as we talk about what's coming, I want you to keep one thing in mind. The final test isn't about how much more you can carry. It's about whether you're willing to open your hands, to stop gripping so tightly to what's familiar, and to receive the abundance, the love, the recognition that's been waiting on the other side of your fear. Because May 18th isn't just a date on the calendar. Virgo, it's the turning point your soul has been preparing for your entire life. Let's pause here for a second. Take a deep breath in and let it out slowly. As you're listening, I want you to check in with yourself. Which part of your life feels like it's been waiting the longest? Hold that thought. Virgo, now that you know the stars are aligning, let's talk about what this alignment is really asking of you. Because here's the truth. Most people never tell you you've already passed every test you thought you had to pass. You've endured. You've been patient. You've carried the weight for others. You've stayed quiet when speaking up felt too risky. You've kept the peace even when it cost you your own. And yet, even after all that, there's one final gate left to walk through, and it's not a test of your strength. You see, we're taught from a young age to equate worthiness with effort, to believe that if we just work hard enough, sacrifice long enough, prove ourselves over and over, then we'll be allowed to receive. But that's not how the universe works. The final test, Virgo, is whether you believe you are worthy of receiving without having to earn it anymore. That's the gate. That's the twist no one prepares you for when Venus moves direct in Aries after retrograde. It's not just about love getting unstuck or money starting to flow again. It's about you choosing to believe that love, abundance, and blessings can find you without you chasing them down. And with Mars blazing through Leo, the universe is saying not only do you have permission to want more, you have permission to claim it. But here's the catch: this moment isn't going to announce itself with fireworks. It's not going to come wrapped in a perfect opportunity that checks every box. It's going to show up quietly, maybe even disguised as something ordinary. That's why so many people miss it. They keep waiting for a sign so big they can't ignore it. But the universe tests us with whispers, not shouts. And if you've been ignoring those whispers, if you've been pushing aside that feeling deep in your chest that says, this is your time, I want you to stop right now and listen. Because May 18th isn't waiting for you to get it all together. It's asking if you'll dare to trust what you already know inside. I once heard about a woman named Lena, another Virgo, who spent years in a career that drained her. She kept saying, maybe next year I'll leave. Maybe when I save a little more. Maybe when things settle down. But things never settled down. And then one day, out of nowhere, she got laid off. At first, she panicked. But deep down, she knew it wasn't a punishment, it was her release. And within weeks, she started the wellness business she had dreamed of for years but never gave herself permission to start. Now, let's talk about the 3 signs that will tell you you're standing at the door. The universe leaves clues. Virgo, always. The first sign someone from your past will suddenly show up in your life again. It might be an old friend, a former lover, a colleague you haven't heard from in years. Pay attention to who re-enters your orbit. They're not back by accident. Sometimes they come to remind you of how far you've grown. Sometimes they show up to offer a missing piece you didn't even know you needed. The second sign, a recurring dream. Maybe it's a place you've never been, a conversation that plays over and over, a symbol that keeps appearing while you sleep. Write it down. Don't dismiss it. Dreams are the language of the subconscious, and during powerful alignments like May 18th, they carry encoded messages meant just for you. And the third sign, a decision will appear that seems small on the surface, but feels heavier than it should. Maybe it's an invitation you feel unsure about, a project you've been hesitating to start, a choice between comfort and growth. When you feel that weight in your gut, that's your signal. The universe is testing whether you'll choose the familiar or take the leap into unknown blessings. I want to be clear. Virgo, none of these signs are random. Nostradamus once wrote that the signs shall repeat thrice before the key is revealed. He wasn't talking about superstition. He was describing patterns that echo across time, across lifetimes, nudging souls toward their destined turning points. And you, standing here in this exact moment, are living one of those echoes. So, when the old friend calls, when the dream repeats, when the small choice feels impossibly big, don't brush it off. Don't second-guess yourself out of your own breakthrough. Instead, pause, listen, ask, What am I being shown here? What would the brave version of me choose? Because bravery isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the quietest decision you'll ever make. The decision to believe that the door really is open, that you really are worthy, that nothing more is required of you except the willingness to say yes. And that's the beauty of this alignment. Virgo, it doesn't demand that you hustle harder. It asks you to trust deeper, to believe that all the work you've done, all the inner healing, all the patience, it wasn't in vain. It was preparation. And now, the universe is asking, will you take what's already yours? This is your moment. Not because everything's perfect, but because you're finally ready to see that you were never broken. You were never behind. You've been preparing for this exact door, at this exact time, all along. Before we move on, I'd love for you to write this in the comments. What's one dream or goal you've quietly held on to? Waiting for the right moment, I read every comment, and sometimes saying it out loud is the first step. Virgo, let me tell you a story about Clara. Clara was someone I met years ago, a Virgo through and through. She was the kind of person who always held it together for everyone else. At work, she was the problem solver, the fixer, the one who picked up the slack when others dropped the ball. At home, she was the steady hand, the dependable shoulder, the one who never complained. People admired her strength, but they never really asked if she was okay. And for the longest time, Clara told herself that was. But something shifted the year she turned 40. It wasn't loud or dramatic. It started with small things. She began waking up in the middle of the night, heart racing, as if her soul was trying to tell her something. She started noticing the same numbers showing up over and over, on receipts, license plates, even in random page numbers in books she flipped open. And deep down, she knew those numbers weren't just coincidences. They were breadcrumbs. As May 18th approached that year, Clara felt this undeniable pull. She couldn't explain it, but she knew something big was coming. One evening, she sat down with a candle, a notebook, and a quiet room. She wrote down every fear she'd been carrying: fear of failing, fear of disappointing her family, fear of leaving behind the steady paycheck. And then she held that piece of paper close, whispered a quiet thank you for the lessons those fears had taught her, and burned it. Watching the smoke rise, she felt. The next morning, Clara's phone rang. It was a former colleague, someone she hadn't spoken to in years. They offered her an opportunity to join a new company, a leadership position she'd never dared to imagine for herself. That call changed everything, not because the universe suddenly gave her something, but because she had finally made space to receive it. Virgo, Clara's story isn't rare because the opportunity showed up. Opportunities are always circling us. Clara's story is rare because she finally believed she was allowed to say yes. And that's what this moment is offering you. The stars aren't creating something from nothing. They're aligning to open a door that's been waiting for you all along. Before you walk through that door, the universe leaves you with 5 numbers, not random digits, but a sacred code meant just for you. These numbers aren't just lucky, they're keys, symbols of what you've earned, what you're unlocking, and what you're being prepared to step into. The first number is 6. 6 represents harmony, the delicate balance between giving and receiving. It's a reminder that you're allowed to receive without guilt, without feeling like you owe the world something in return. The second number is 14. 14 is the number of movement, of progress with intention. It speaks to the journey you've been on, the lessons you've gathered, and the steps you've taken even when no one was watching. The third number is 24. 24 signals completion, the full circle moment. It's the harvest of seeds planted long ago finally coming into bloom. It's the universe saying, "You didn't give up, and now it's time to gather the rewards." The fourth number is 18. 18 is fate. It's a direct nod to May 18th, the date the cosmic doorway swings open. It's the universe marking this moment as sacred, pivotal, written into your soul's blueprint before you even arrived here. The fifth number is 33. 33 is the number of mastery, of spiritual leadership. It's the signal that you've learned the lessons, integrated the wisdom, and now stand ready to guide others simply by being who you are. But Virgo, the sixth number, that number isn't mine to tell you. The universe keeps that number hidden because it's meant for you to find. Maybe it will appear in a dream. Maybe you'll see it on a clock at exactly the right moment. Maybe it will flash by on a receipt or be whispered to you in a quiet moment of reflection. That sixth number is the missing piece, the final key, the personal sign that confirms you are ready. And when you see it, when that number finds you, you'll know in your gut, in your bones, that it's time to step forward. I want you to do something with these numbers. Write them down on a piece of paper. Leave the sixth spot blank. Place it under your pillow on the night of May 18th. Let it sit there as you sleep, as you dream, as you open yourself to the signs that are already swirling around you. These numbers aren't magic in the way people think. They're magic because they activate your awareness, your openness, your ability to see what's always been waiting. Because the truth is, Virgo, the signs are always there. The universe has always been speaking. The only question is, are you listening? Clara told me once, long after her life had transformed, that the numbers weren't the magic. The numbers were the invitation. The real magic was saying yes to the journey they represented. And that's what I want you to carry with you. Virgo, not just the numbers, but the courage to follow where they lead. Pause here. Close your eyes for a moment and picture Clara's moment. What would that phone call, that unexpected opportunity, look like in your life? Virgo, now that you've written down your 5 numbers and left that 6th space open, it's time to take the next step. Because awareness is powerful, but action is what transforms everything. And that's why this ritual isn't just symbolic, it's a signal to the universe that you're ready to receive. Tonight, or on the night of May 18th, find a quiet space where you won't be interrupted. Dim the lights, light a candle, even if it's just a small one. Because fire has always carried intention through history. Start by sitting with that paper, the one with your 5 numbers and the blank space. Hold it in your hands. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths, each one slower than the last. Feel your body settle. Feel your mind quiet. Then, read the numbers aloud, one by one, letting each number land in your heart as you speak it. When you get to that blank space, pause. Sit in that silence. Let yourself feel the anticipation, the openness, the surrender. Next, I want you to take another piece of paper. On this one, write down the biggest fear you're carrying right now. Maybe it's the fear of failure. Maybe it's the fear of being seen. Maybe it's the fear of losing what you've worked so hard to build. Don't filter it. Don't sugarcoat it. Write it exactly as it feels inside you. Once it's written, read it aloud. Then fold that paper and hold it close to your chest. Say this out loud: I thank you for what you've taught me, but I don't need you anymore. Then, safely burn that piece of paper. Watch as the flames turn it into ash. And as you watch it burn, imagine that fear leaving your body, leaving your energy, leaving your path. When the fire is out, return to your first paper, the one with the numbers. Place it under your pillow before you go to bed. And as you fall asleep, simply whisper to yourself, I am ready. I don't need to chase. I don't need to prove. I allow what's meant for me to find me. Sleep with that intention. Let the dreams come. Let the signs come. This ritual isn't about controlling the outcome. It's about aligning your energy so that when the opportunity arrives, you recognize it, so that when the door opens, you don't hesitate. You step forward with courage, knowing you've already prepared yourself to receive. Virgo, this is how you anchor the invisible into the visible, how you turn possibility into reality. And if you find yourself doubting along the way, return to this ritual. Repeat it as many times as you need. Each time you burn that fear, each time you say those numbers, you're reinforcing the message, I am worthy. I am ready. I trust the timing of my life. You might not see the shift right away, but know that energy moves, often beneath the surface first. Small shifts in your mindset today will ripple out into bigger changes tomorrow. I've seen people do this ritual and notice signs within hours, a phone call they'd been waiting for, a solution to a problem, a connection that opened a new door. And sometimes, the biggest sign is the peace you feel inside, knowing you've let something go that was never meant to stay. Virgo, give yourself that peace. You've carried enough for everyone else. Now it's time to carry hope for yourself. If at any point during this ritual you feel resistance, it's okay. Take a breath, place your hand on your heart, and remind yourself, I'm safe to let go. Virgo, I want you to imagine this moment like standing at the edge of a cliff. Not a cliff of danger, but a cliff of possibility. Behind you is everything you've known, the patterns, the roles, the responsibilities you've carried. And in front of you, it's not just an empty space. It's a vast, open field waiting for you to step into it. You might feel nervous. You might wonder if you're ready. But here's what I want you to know. You've already done the hardest part. You've survived. You've stayed. This next chapter isn't asking you to work harder. It's asking you to trust deeper, to lean into faith, not fear, to realize that you don't have to keep proving your worth to receive good things. You've already proven it by the way you've shown up, day after day, year after year. Now it's time to let the universe show up for you. Some people think blessings come with a big announcement, a flashy moment, but often they come softly, like a phone call that changes everything, like a quiet opportunity that seems small at first but grows into something bigger than you imagined. That's why it's so important to be awake, to be present, to not brush off those nudges that keep pulling at your heart. I've seen this happen with so many Virgos. One woman I knew had spent years giving everything to her family and her job, never leaving space for herself. Then one day, she finally took a weekend retreat alone. On that retreat, she had a conversation with a stranger that led to a partnership, which eventually became the business she'd dreamed of starting but never thought she could. All because she said yes to one small nudge. That's the power of a moment like this. Virgo, May 18th isn't a random day. It's not just another page on the calendar. It's a cosmic checkpoint, a moment when everything you've endured, everything you've worked for, everything you've healed, converges. And the question isn't, are you ready? The question is, will you let yourself believe you're ready? Because here's the truth. Readiness doesn't always feel like certainty. Sometimes it feels like showing up anyway, even with the doubts. Sometimes it's choosing to step forward even when part of you wants to hold back. That's the courage the universe is asking for now. And when you take that step, when you cross that invisible line, you'll feel it. You'll feel lighter. You'll feel the weight that's been on your shoulders begin to lift. You'll notice how people respond differently to you. How doors that once felt closed suddenly crack open. That's the ripple effect of saying yes. But the most powerful shift, it happens inside. It's the moment you realize you don't need permission to live fully. You don't need someone else to validate your dreams. You've been waiting for a sign, and the sign is this: you're already standing at the door. All you have to do is walk through, so take a deep breath. Virgo, this is your invitation to stop surviving and start thriving, to stop shrinking and start standing tall, to stop settling and start choosing. And the beautiful part, every choice you make from this place of alignment will ripple out, creating more opportunities, more peace, more joy than you thought possible. And if you find yourself doubting tomorrow, come back to this moment. Remember the numbers. Remember the ritual. Remember the stories. Let them remind you that you are more powerful, more ready, more aligned than you've ever given yourself credit for. This isn't just about receiving a blessing. It's about becoming the person who knows how to hold it. Virgo, your time is here. Your door is open. Now it's up to you to walk through it. If this message has been speaking to you so far, go ahead and hit that like button. It lets me know this message is landing for the people who need it most. And if you haven't already, subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter. Virgo, as we wrap up this message, I want you to take a moment and really sit with everything you've heard today. You've walked through the stories, the signs, the numbers, the rituals, and the reminders. But more than anything, you've been given an invitation to step into a chapter that doesn't ask you to fight harder or climb steeper. It asks you to receive with open hands. You've been strong for so long. You've carried others. You've shown up when no one else did. And now the universe is standing in front of you, offering a new way forward. Not a life where you earn your worth every single day, but a life where you remember it's already yours. That's the beauty of this moment. Virgo, the blessing isn't just coming, it's been waiting. Tonight, when you lay your head down, I want you to whisper something to yourself. I am enough. I am ready. I allow the good that's meant for me to find me. Say it as many times as you need. Let those words seep into your bones. Let them undo the old story that told you you had to prove, to strive, to hustle for every bit of love, every dollar, every win. Because the truth is, Virgo, you've already paid the price. You've already earned the breakthrough. And now it's time to let it unfold. If this message touched something inside you, I invite you to share your 6th number when it finds you. Type it in the comments. Tell your story. Because your breakthrough might be the spark that lights the way for another Virgo still searching. And if you wake up tomorrow wondering if you really are ready, I want you to know that readiness isn't a feeling, it's a decision. Every step you've taken, every time you chose hope over fear, every quiet moment you kept believing even when no one else did, that's what prepared you for this. You didn't miss it. You're right on time. So tonight, light a small candle if you can. Hold your hand over your heart. Say those words again. I am enough. I am ready. I allow the good that's meant for me to find me. Let the flame remind you of the light inside you. Let it remind you that even in the quiet, even in the waiting, you're already worthy. And when the sign comes, when that 6th number shows up in the most unexpected way, you'll know. You'll feel it deep in your soul, and you'll smile, knowing this is my moment. The door is open. The time is now. And you, Virgo, you're ready. Take a final deep breath with me. And as you exhale, imagine yourself stepping forward through that door into that version of you who already knows she's ready.